Every locality has its own production. In Agege, it is the bread. Agege bread is not as popular as it used to be because of modernization. People now prefer sliced bread or what they call modern bread. There is a proliferation of bakeries now. There are many bakeries all over. But I think bread is popular in the big cities. The farther you go from Lagos, the less attractive bread is to people. And the unique feature of Agege bread is the texture. Agege bread is very soft. Some say succulent, some say thick. The slang here is ki in Yoruba. Ki means robust.
During the tail end of 19th century, the migrants, the foreigners, they are coming in. And bread is a foreign bread. Okay, it is being brought to Nigeria as a foreign food. This thing came to Nigeria through the migrants, that is, they call them West Indies now. But when they brought it, first of all landed in Lagos Island. When the railway corporation started, the bread business continued to becoming boom. One man, they call that man Stanley Shackleford, established his own at around the Butemeta area.
Amos Shackleford, the bread king of Nigeria, was a Jamaican who moved here in 1913 to work with the Nigerian railways. He left 8 years later to set up a bakery. He introduced the dough break, a kneading device which allows for the development of the peculiar texture of Agege bread. He also hired local independent sellers who earned commissions by distributing the finished loaves. Mr. Oyeyemi's father was one of those independent sellers who sold bread on the train from Ibutemeta to Itoko, back when the railway system was high functioning. He taught the tools of the trade to Oyeyemi, who has passed it down to his children. Today we're at Alpha Bakery, one of the many bakeries in Agege owned by the Oyeyemi family. It has more of an industrial feel compared to other bakeries in the area, and it can get quite busy here. So what kind of bread do you do here?
We make Agege bread, both Agege butterbeer and Agege coconut bread. The cost of living, the cost of ingredients, the cost of everything has become too high. How much are we buying flour? 4 naira. 4 naira. Later
for
on,
50 kilos?
For 50 kilos, 40 naira. And so that it was very cheap. And that when you bake that bread, then the gain that will come up is about almost 3 or 4 times. But now, looking this in, a bag now is about 11,000. Okay, we have Baba Kabo, there's Orobo, there's 4 corner. The 4 corner is the smallest one.
This is Olaiya Bakery, owned by our late mom. It was established in 1975. In February 1993, I joined the business. Mainly, we do 2 shifts of production. We start one around 7 in the morning, and we start one around noon. We take the flour, we add sugar, we add salt, we add margarine, and bread improver. Then we mix with water. Then we mill. From the miller, we mill. Then we scale into sizes, depending on what sizes we want. We scale and mold into the pans. Then we cover with a polythene so that it will rise early. Here it is the old system of Agege bread, which is from the mud oven. We use firewood. We burn the firewood and we spread the hot charcoal. We lock the oven for the heat to radiate around the oven. Then we draw out the charcoal. Then when the place is very hot, then we now load the dough, the dough inside the pans. Then the yeast will take effect. The dough will be rising in the pan. Then the shape of the pan will form the shape of the bread. When it gets to the oven, the heat will make it to rise. But because it's covered, it cannot go beyond the cover. So that one makes it to have this 4 corner shape we usually have in Agege bread. Because we have an association, we call it Master Bakers and Caterers Association of Nigeria. So every bakery owner must register with that association. As a member of that association, you have the rules. They need to tell you what to use to make your bread. And they usually come to inspect the bakeries to really confirm what you have been using. And these associations liaise with NAFDAC. If there's any erring bakery, They will invite NAFDAC to come and seal off the company.
So, the Association of Master Bakers and Caterers of Nigeria has been in existence since 1956. The association acts as a bridge between regulators and bakers, making sure standards are followed and creating growth opportunities for its members.
I'm Prince Jacob Adejoni, the Lagos State Chairman, Association of Master Bakers and Caterers of Nigeria. I've been in business for the past 41 years as a baker, as bakery owner, and a member. When I was very young, my father would travel. When he travels, we only eat bread once in a year, just like gold. So my first production, it was just like a hot cake. Because the flour by then, whenever you are baking, you'll be hearing the smell far, far distance. But in those days, just mix, put your yeast. That is all.
So, you didn't add any improvers?
No improver, nothing.
So, when did improvers come into business?
It's just after they lived on ban of wheat by Baba. Yeah, 1980. When Babangida banned the production of wheat.
What was wrong with the wheat?
Because we are not saying that the wheat being grown in Nigeria and was not with high quality by then. So we bakers are afraid of the quality of wheat. So that is why the improver came.
So who named it Agege Bread?
There was a man called Alhaji Ayokun. He was at Agege. So he started that innovation of Agege Bread from his bakery. We traveled down to his, whether it's Oyo, I don't know his place, brought hawkers, or the young girls, when they brought them, they started hawking, started calling it, because the bread is being produced in Agege, started calling it Agege Bread.
So right now there's a whole industry, there's a huge part of the bread industry that has products that are not named. So you can buy no-name breads, just simply inserted into nylon transparent bags and sold. No name, no nutritional information, no contact information, nothing about what's in it. Our journey leads us to the Sarkin's Palace, located a few feet away from the railway line in Agege. The Sarkin Hausawa is a symbol of authority in the Hausa community and presides over grassroots affairs. The community has lived here peacefully for over 100 years and consider Agege as their first home.
Here I introduce His Royal Highness Alhaji Musa Muhammad Dogon Kade, the 7th Sarkin Hausawa of Agege.
During colonial times, our work here, after cutting wood and some other work, we're traders. We bring a lot of food, animals like camel, goats, and so on here. And we also buy kola nut. I don't know any other bread than Agege bread by that time. Agege towns say very, very reliable and peaceful towns. We even call it a safe town during any crisis. When they came into Agege, they're safe.
Agege is a mini ECOWAS. There is no tribe or nationality from all these West African countries where you come to Agege you wouldn't find. Before independence, there is a bus that used to bring in bread to Agege in a van. They call it Shackleford bread. When Shackleford bread was nowhere to be seen, this is the beginning of bakeries springing up in most of our areas in Agege. Before, when the train comes, it doesn't stop. It was one of the late Sarkin Hausawa, Alhaji Muhammad Abbas, who reigned between 1948 to 1997. It was he that made arrangement with the government that we have a stopover here. And so the business of this railways was very important to us. So the railway makes Agege develop quicker.
Agege bread is a staple in the Nigerian diet, especially among low-income earners, because of its denseness and long shelf life. We take to the streets to talk to the locals about their love for this bread.
Agege bread. Ládùúgbò tá a wá yìí, ọmọ Agege náà bí wá sí, Agege làwọn dàgbà sí. Látàrí àwọn bàbá wa àtàwọn ìyá wa, Agege bread tó ti ń jẹ láti ilẹ̀ nìyẹn, tó lè fi tọ́ wa dàgbà. Àwọn adé gbọ́dọ̀ dáadáa. Agege bread dẹ̀, ó máa ní máàkì, ó dùn dáadáa, ó rọ̀.
I value it because I'm living for Agege, you see, and it's very good, it's very short. It can use 3 days without not spoiling.
Agege bread is a quality bread, and once you eat Agege bread, yes, you know that you eat something.
Located in the heart of Victoria Island, on a street right opposite the popular Echo Hotel, is an open-air shack where Meshais serve breakfast every morning with Agege Bread as the main character. Meshais are street food sellers from the north of Nigeria, who have existed for as long as I can remember. Serving Lagosians a smorgasbord of food like instant noodles, chocolate milk, tea, coffee, and the most important item on the menu, fried Agege bread with eggs.
I the top bread I know me for here now. You know my guy now.
You don't hear about bromate.
Bromate na very bad chemical in the for bread. They make bread rice.
You make bread rice.
But you know say,
so you self, you know good.
You know good.
There have been recent reports that bakeries still use bromate to this day, even though bromate was banned by NAFDAC, the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration, in 2004. Some of our interview subjects were certain that bakers no longer use bromate after the ban. To fact-check that claim, we reached out to a lab to test Agege bread samples gotten from the streets.
We detected bromate. There should not be bromate in the bread. We shouldn't detect it at all because it's banned. The pH, the protein, the ash, the bromate, carbohydrate and energy value, and the total, the yeast and mold do not, they are not conforming to the expectations of the industrial standard. So in 1999, the International Agency for Research in Cancer officially classified potassium bromate as a carcinogen. That makes it a chemical of concern. Potassium bromate is an oxidizer. It helps to toughen the dough, the bread dough, when it is used to bake, and thereby making the end product more fluffy. It helps to increase the size, the volume size of the bread, and because it's an oxidizing agent, it bleaches the flour, and more important, it's very cheap. It's readily available compared to most other chemicals that are potentially, that can be used for baking.
Are there alternatives to bromate that are healthy and that give the same sort of results? That
the Food and Agricultural Organization, they produce a publication called Codex. If I'm correct, in 2012, Codex officially removed potassium bromate from their specification list, and they suggested ascorbic acid. And ascorbic acid is vitamin C. And we all know vitamin C is good for our system, and it's a good alternative. Apart from those parameters that we pointed out that failed, other parameters in your bread sample, they're okay. It's just those ones that are particularly bromate.
Agege bread isn't going anywhere, regardless of what happens. There's a lot of talk about standardizing processes of production, making sure it's labeled, and I think that's good. I hope that it doesn't take away from the uniqueness of this bread that is so available, so common, almost ubiquitous. One thing that we could do is to create awareness of the dangers of bromate and also educate people about producing good quality loaves of bread, because we can't afford to lose Agege bread. It was just this thing that has so much history and culture, brings a lot of comfort and sustenance to a vast majority of people. I hope that Agege bread will always remain part of our culture, part of our history, that it remains always and forever a part of our culinary arsenal.